Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, brothers and sisters. Today's episode is a revisit of the first law of thermodynamics, focusing on the Carnot efficiency of a heat engine. How do we calculate for the work done if the process is isothermal and if the process is adiabatic? Stick around to find out, watch and learn. The problem is a Carnot engine uses the expansion and compression of n number of moles of argon gas, for which the molar heat capacity at constant volume, or capital C sub V, is equal to 3 halves times the big R. This engine operates between temperatures capital T sub C and capital T sub H. During the isothermal expansion from state A to state B, the volume of the gas increases from B sub A to B sub B, which is equal to 2 times the volume V sub A. Question letter A. Calculate the work done, W sub AB, during the isothermal expansion from state A to state B. Give your answer in terms of small n, big R, and the temperature capital T sub H. Question letter B. Calculate the work done, W sub BC, during the adiabatic expansion from state B to state C. Give your answers in terms of small n, capital R, capital T sub C, and capital T sub H. And question letter C, for this engine, the work done, W sub AB, is equal to the work done, W sub BC. Find the ratio, capital TC over capital TH, and the efficiency of the engine. Given in figure 1 is a pressure volume graph, all right, that illustrates a Carnot cycle for a typical Carnot heat engine. So in this PV graph, the red curves or lines are what we call isotherms, or curves of constant temperature. And the dark blue lines are what we call adiabats, or curves with zero heat flow. We are given the molar heat capacity at constant volume of a monatomic ideal gas, such as argon gas, okay, equal to 3 halves times the universal gas constant, big R. And the volume of the gas, okay, from state A to state B, okay, increases, and its delta B is equal to twice the volume at state A, right? The temperature changes, right, from a Kelvin temperature TH, that's at point A, and the final temperature, all right, TC. TH is the temperature at the hot reservoir, while TC is the temperature at the cold reservoir of a typical heat engine. And our target variable in part A is the work done, W A sub B. And we are required to express our answer in terms of the variables small n, big R, and uh, the temperature capital T sub H. While in part B, our target variable is the work done, W sub BC, right? And also, the answer has to be expressed in terms of small n, big R, uh, temperature TH, and TC. And in part C, we are required to calculate the ratio of the temperature capital TC over the temperature capital TH, as well as the ideal efficiency, also known as the Carnot efficiency, denoted by small letter e, of the heat engine, given that the work done, W sub AB, is equal to the work done, W sub BC. In figure 2, we are given the steps of the Carnot cycle in a Carnot engine, using as its working substance an ideal gas such as argon in a cylinder with a piston. The Carnot cycle consists of two reversible isothermal and two reversible adiabatic processes. It consists of the following steps. In step 1, the gas expands isothermally at temperature TH as it absorbs heat QH, okay, from the fuel or the gas, and as it expands isothermally along the path A to B, okay, the temperature TH is maintained, all right, which means that uh, the temperature remains constant at TH, okay, from state A to state B. Here, both the heat absorbed and the work done are considered positive, okay, which means that the heat is being absorbed by the system or the gas, and that the work done is done by the system or the gas. Then in step 2, this is along the path B to C. Okay, the gas expands adiabatically until its temperature drops to capital TC. So capital TH is the initial temperature, and the final temperature is capital TC. So in an adiabatic expansion, we say that the amount of heat absorbed or given up is equal to 0. And then in step 3, okay, we have what we call an isothermal compression. All right. Yeah. The volume of the gas decreases, right, at constant temperature Tc. And then in step 4, the process is known as adiabatic compression. All right. So here, uh, there's no heat flow, right? But the temperature um, is again increased, all right, back to its initial temperature TH, right? And in this problem, our concern is to determine the work done, W sub AB, or along the path AB, as well as the work done along the path BC, all right? So we will only be using as our basis for our derivation of the equations, the two steps, step 1 and step 2. So in step 1, we said that there is an isothermal expansion of the gas, right? Meaning that the temperature doesn't change, it is maintained at the temperature TH, all right? Although there is an increase in the volume, right? Uh, but the temperature remains constant at TH. So it follows that the internal energy of the system, right, at state A also remains constant. So there is no what we call change in the internal energy, right? Delta U sub AB is equal to 0. And since internal energy is a state function, okay, it only depends on uh, the change in temperature. It doesn't depend on the change in pressure or change in the volume, right? And based on the first law of thermodynamics, when the temperature is kept constant, right, where the delta U along the path AB is equal to 0, then our equation for the first law of thermodynamics is such that the work done W AB is just equal to the heat that is absorbed, all right, by the system or by the gas along the same path, which is capital Q sub AB, which also is the same as uh, capital Q sub H, right? The meaning of the subscript H, all right, is that this is the same amount of heat, okay, in the what we call hot reservoir, all right, which is a typical term used in describing heat engines. And using the equation, the derived equation for determining uh, either the work done, okay, W is AB, or the heat absorbed, Q sub H, equal to small n, or the number of moles of the gas, times the universal gas constant big R, and the constant temperature capital T sub h, all right, multiplied by the natural log of the ratio of the volume, final volume, B sub B over the initial volume, B sub A. Okay? Take note, we use this formula for an isothermal process, right? In this case, an isothermal expansion of the gas. And since we are given that the final volume is twice the value of the initial volume, if we substitute that here, we'll have 2 times B sub A, which tells us that B sub A can be cancelled. And this equation will be simplified to work W sub AB equals small n times big R times TH multiplied by the natural log of the number 2. So this is the amount of work W sub AB, right? The required answer to question in part A. In answering the question in part B, what is the work done? WPC. Let's consider the second step in our Carnot cycle. So this process in step 2 is considered in adiabatic expansion of the gas, where there is no heat absorbed by the gas and there is no heat given off by the gas either, right? So Q sub BC equals 0. We call that an adiabatic expansion of the gas. And according to the first law of thermodynamics, when the amount of heat Q sub BC equals 0, then the work done WBC, okay, is just equal to negative delta U BC, right? Which means that there's work done by the system or by the gas, but it corresponds to a decrease in the internal energy of the gas. That is what is meant by the negative sign of delta U sub BC. And using our formula for determining delta U along the path BC, okay, we express that as negative small n, or the number of moles, times the molar heat capacity at constant volume of the gas, and multiplied by the change in Kelvin temperature, delta T, where the delta T here, as usual, is the difference between the final temperature Tc, okay, minus the initial temperature T sub H. So using this expression, the work done WBC, okay, is equal to negative small n times CB times quantity Tc minus Th. And using the given value for CB, all right, and getting rid of the negative sign here, we will multiply the right side of the equation by a negative 1, and that would mean our delta t will be reversed. Okay, instead of t sub c minus t sub h, it's going to be th minus tc. And that is the work done along the path BC, or W sub BC, is equal to 3 halves uh, times small n times big R, right? And multiplied by quantity Th minus Tc. So if you're given the actual number of moles, small n, as well as the uh, Kelvin temperatures Th and Tc, you'll find out that the work done is going to be a positive work, which agrees with our situation that uh, the volume of the gas increases, all right, which means that the work done by the expanding gas is still positive, right? Which agrees also with what we have here according to the first law of thermodynamics. If the work done is positive, okay, we will have a decrease in the uh, internal energy of the system. And a decrease in the internal energy of the system corresponds to a decrease also in temperature. Okay? The fact that pH is greater than Tc, all right? But Tc being the final temperature agrees with that uh, analysis, that a decrease in internal energy is associated with a decrease in temperature, all right, in an adiabatic process such as what we have here. So this is our final answer to the question in part B. In part C, we are to determine the ratio Tc over Th, as well as the Carnot efficiency of the engine, right? Given that the work done WAB is equal to the work done WBC. So we just use the expression for each work done. For W sub AB, that is equal to the product of NR TH and the natural log, or ln2. And for the work done WBC, it's equal to 3 halves times N times R quantity TH minus TC. Since N times R is a common term on both sides of the equation, might as well cancel it out. So our equation is simplified to TH times ln2 equal to 3 halves times quantity TH minus TC. And 3 halves will be multiplied to TH, right, and negative TC, or that is 3 halves TH minus 3 halves times TC. and transposing negative 3 halves Tc to the left side of the equation, and Th ln2 to the right side of the equation. We'll have 3 halves times Tc being equal to 3 halves Th minus Th times the natural log of the number 2, which is 0.693, right? So this simplifies further to 3 halves multiplied by Tc is equal to 0.807 Th. And finally, getting the ratio Tc over Th, we'll have 2 is multiplied to 0.807 and then divided by 3. And the final answer is Tc over Th equals 0.538. All right? This is one of our answers to question letter C. The thermal efficiency, small e, is generally obtained by dividing the total work done by the gas or the system by the amount of heat input, or capital Q sub H. But in a particular problem, we make use of the Carnot efficiency, also known as the ideal efficiency of the Carnot engine, right? Equal to the difference of Th and Tc, that is Th minus Tc, okay, divided by Th, right? Substituting, that's 1, right? Obtained by dividing Th by Th, and then minus Tc over Th. So, since we already have the ratio of Tc over Th equal to 0.538, we can now specifically get the value of the efficiency, Carnot efficiency, small letter e, equal to 0.462. Just before we end, let us reiterate the key concept that we applied in this problem. The Carnot cycle operates between two heat reservoirs at temperatures Th and Tc and uses only reversible processes. Its thermal efficiency depends only on Th and Tc. So on this note, may I say, mabuhay, till the next episode. MashaAllah. Thank you very much for your indulgence. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alhamdulillah.